Yeah, definitely coming in, to the university, I wasn't a blue chip recruit. I knew that, and Jay just told me that, and Jay tells us everyone, like, hard work is just, that levels the playing field, and if I work hard and put in the time and effort, I can be one of the best in the country. And that's the reason I came to the University of Minnesota, is because of the legacy that we've had here, building champions. And I knew that if I put in the time with Jay, and Michael, Jay, and I did so much work together in the first 3-4 years, that he reinvested back in me, and then good things happen.
Jay was a huge part of me coming here. I just remember specifically the conversation we had in my recruiting visit. He kind of blew me away with all the talking he did, and like all the stories he brought up and stuff like that, and a lot of his like catchphrases that he has. But just seeing the kind of person that he was, just like I said, he never, and I never felt like he was hiding behind anything, like just trying to get me here and use me. He was like, well, I need you, and you need us, and it's like, let's make something happen.
Yeah, Jay was really focused on us, even though we weren't the starters. He still sought us out, just underclassmen that he saw potential in, and we also were willing to put it back in the time with him. So, well, we always did the freshman workouts. We did some really tough circuits that every freshman class goes through, that Jay was always kind of, he was always kind of behind that. And then we were putting in 2-3 days a week. Michael, Jay, and I just going down to the room twice or 3 times a week, just putting in the hours, just doing technique after technique and developing ourselves our first 2.5 years.
Young guys get lost in the mix, in college a lot of times. You're an incoming guy. Like, a lot of the coaches are focused on the starters, especially in season and stuff like that, so you don't get that development. And Jay, went out of his way to put all those hours in with me and Brett. It's like, we didn't get lost in the mix. Jay said, he told everybody this. It wasn't like he just singled us out. We were the ones that said yes, and committed to doing that.
So I could approach him about anything in life, whether it would be wrestling or anything outside of wrestling, and Jay was just a big, kind of like a father figure in my life as well. And I mean, one example is last year, I was kind of nervous in the spring. I went into the coach's room with him and Becker and Agam, and I asked about skipping a freestyle tournament and a month of training to go over to Italy to work on a farm and a vineyard, and Jay said I would be crazy not to. And I mean, anything that I ever wanted to do, he's in full support behind all the time. So one of the biggest things I've learned from camps is that, well, Jay isn't going to coddle us when you go there to work for him, and it's kind of like baptism by fire. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's hard work, but it's also really rewarding. So if you put in that time, and it can be a grind at times, but I know that the work I've done at JROB camps, and it won't compare to whoever I work for in the future, because I know that it's that grind in the summer, and you're putting in a lot of time training yourself as well, and ultimately you're always around wrestling. Either you're teaching it to the kids, or you're watching other staff members showing moves, you're learning from them, and then you're learning from Jay, and you're also training with the team as well.
And all the staff practices and stuff like that we had, and I get to interact with all these guys for an extra 3 months that otherwise I might be at home working or something like that, or be up here and not have anybody to really train with, or it's just a great way to continue training for 12 months of the year pretty much, instead of those gap months in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, initially, Jay could be a little intimidating for us freshmen, but even that freshman year, he said, he'd always say at the beginning of practices, if anyone has anything and they need to come to talk to me about, my door is always open. Like, don't be afraid to come talk to me. He was always persistent about that. So he was, he started off as our coach, and as the years went by, he was just more of a friend. We always respected him and looked up to him, but then we also had this level of comfortability where we could joke around, talk about anything and just have a good time. And now that Jay is gone on to different things, I still see him as a mentor of mine, but also a friend.